Zombies hunger, death consumed. Greetings and welcome to the finale of Tournament of the Living Dead. I'm Flesh Wound Dan, joined by producer Todd.
Good evening.
And Return of the Living Dead #1 fanboy Pugs Dread.
Dan Hater, namaste. Howdy.
And our zombie expert Chris McGibbon.
What's up?
Don't you just love how Dan really knows how to sway that vote his way?
Yeah. So he does a great job.
It's for the wrong team, but yeah.
Hatman 2024.
Yeah, right. You're doing.
Let the
no
healing begin. So, if you're jumping in now,
Nope.
You've missed a lot. But Pugs, let them know how the Tournament of Living Dead works.
What we do for our tournaments is rate and review a film, and then at the end of the episode, we'll add that movie to a list compiled from our previous episodes. And then we will vote to eliminate one of those films off the list, leaving us with our 3 zombie films, aka our 3 survivors. Then those 3 final survivors will go up against a new zombie film every episode until we reach day 13. And when we get to that point, we will pick one of the 3 survivors as our Tournament of the Living Dead champion. So now that that's out of the way, Todd, tell us our previous eliminations and whatever the hell else is on the menu.
Thanks, Pugs. Our previous eliminations are Premoto's Fallen Angel, Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, Dead Girl, Nightmare City, Biozombie, World War Z, 13 Eerie, The Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue, Dance of the Dead Hate the Living, and Undead. And our 3 survivors are Lucio Fulci's Zombie, Return of the Living Dead, Shaun of the Dead, and now entering the end of the tournament, Cemetery Man. Dan, fuck that. Entering the tournament, Dellamorte Dellamore. Dan, why don't you tell us about that?
All right. So from 1994, we have Dellamorte Dellamore from director Michele Soavi. And in this film, Rupert Everett stars as cemetery watchman Francesco Dellamorte, tasked with dispatching the recently deceased when they rise from their graves. But then he falls in love with a beautiful young widow. Will his resurrected lust for life become greater than his bond with death? All right. So Dellamorte Dellamore, aka Cemetery Man, as some of you know it. This is based on a 1991 novel by, and this is a little confusing, but Tiziano Scalvi of the title, Dellamorte Dellamore. This is also unusual because the Dellamorte character also ties into his Dylan Dog comic book series, which I've never read. But I guess he's like an alter ego for Dylan Dog, and there's a really bad Dylan Dog adaptation with Brandon Routh.
Haven't seen it. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
And if you don't know, Dylan Dog's look is based on Rupert Everett.
Yeah, I don't know exact. I know it's like an alter ego, but that's some backstory.
Well, yeah.
Dylan Dog came first, right? That's
Dylan Dog came out first, but this script was already a thing, and the reason they're connected is because like they're so close, but they're not really related, but they kind of are. Because it was the same inspiration, but he took it 2 different ways, and Dylan Dog became a thing. And when I believe it was Soavi couldn't get the Dylan Dog script, he gave him this, and he didn't like it at the time. It wasn't until much later, and I can't remember who got involved. But so they're connected, but they're adjacent. They're not the same, but they knew that Italian audiences would know that it's the same. It's basically Dylan Dog, so they weren't going to accept any other actor but Rupert Everett, which you never knew at the time anything about this till after, because they didn't want him to hold him up for money.
Evil genius.
They actually, when they knew he was in, they were worried they weren't hearing back from him, so they had actually done another script that kind of made it more normal, more suspense picture, versus the weird one we have. And he like got mad. He was like, I'll only do that first script. So they knew, he was in. So
there was a complicated history with sequel. And also at one point, a remake was pitched for Matt Dillon to play the role, and it just never materialized in the US. But
I can
but
see
yeah.
that on a big budget.
I'd be interested to see that take, actually.
Jason
Well,
Bourne as Dylan
you know,
Dog.
I can't speak too much about the Dylan Dog stuff. I mostly just know this movie, and it's something that a lot of people don't even fully understand the movie. I find, which is weird, kind of a Candyman thing going on with this one as well. It's very complex. It's not just a zombie film. I mean, the dual narrative, unreliable narrator stuff that we have going on here is really fascinating. And you can fall in love with this movie on a surface level for sure, because all of the, the gore, the humor, the performances,
We fall in
just
love with the Dan
beauty.
character, right?
absolutely. Anna Fauci is gorgeous. I mean, just what a beautiful lady. Still
Back to Dan
is.
character.
But you can fall in love with the film on a surface level, but when you really absorb it all, this is one of the best films of the 90s, best horror films of the 90s. It's in that discussion for maybe even being the best. You have to remember, in 1994, we're several years that the Italian genre scene has been on life support. You didn't have anything of this quality really coming out in 1994. Michele Soavi, it's a shame that he had some personal issues that he had to deal with in his family, because he was still doing it way past when other directors had declined in Italy. This movie is a fucking masterpiece.
You know, they
in my
marketed
opinion.
it to help get funding as literally it was the last giallo. That was the whole thing. Like the last
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
original, that old school Italian, and they marketed it as that. That's how they pushed it. And if you look at it, it really is the end of that Italian era. That's like the end. Like I was already in the tail end of there, but that's like that's it.
Yeah.
It's that's the swan song of that era of filmmaking.
You go beyond 94. I mean, there's always something, but there's very little. Italian, TV had pretty much killed everything much earlier than 1994. And, I remember seeing this back in the day, and just that there was a lot of hype behind it. I was already, young, but I was watching a lot of the Italian classics, and I just thought, like, well, surely this can only be so good. And I was blown away. There's something for everybody in this movie. And the humor, I think, hits better than any zombie movie. I mean, obviously, it's a dark story if you understand the story. But the scene where the nurse, the doctor comes in and he's like, "Why are you praying on the floor?" Or "What are you doing on the floor, sister?" For me, this really hits. Again, Euro horror guys, so that might just be me. We'll see what you guys think, but I love everything about this film. It's intelligent, it's funny, it's gory. It's just everything about this to me over delivers, and it's up there with like a Candyman in the discussion for the best horror movie of the 1990s. I'm sure I'm going to put this one over even more, but hot tag to whoever wants to go. I can't imagine you guys dislike this one, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, I'm a huge fan of this one. I was doing the math, and I wish I would have grabbed them all because I still have them all. 8 copies is what I'm up to on this. I don't still have the VHS, but
wow.
I'm sure Chris has one somewhere.
It's back there somewhere. I was looking for it, but
but yeah, like this has been the one that like I've been chasing, like that good version. There's even a 3D version that's not good, but I mean, this is one over the years. Do you remember the old red editions from Germany, Chris?
Yeah.
And then there's the Italian DVD with there's so many different versions. Like it's always been the chase to find that definitive version, and finally getting to see it in 4K in its what I would call its definitive version. I still love it just as much as that first time I saw it on VHS. Yeah, it's a great picture. It gets better every time because there's difference now from watching it 20 plus years ago, so it does grow. So
30 years, 30th anniversary for this one.
Yeah.
So
You're old, son.
What?
You're old.
Yeah, I know.
You are.
All right. Yes. I probably saw this about 98, 99. So I didn't see it on the initial VHS release. What year was that tape, Dan? The Fox tape? Because I know my first viewing. Oh, Chris will tell us right now. My first viewing was the German DVD.
95.
Okay.
So
yeah, it would have been a few years after that.
yeah, I mean that would have been when I saw it, I guess. Yeah. Oh, so
to
good.
me, it's insane to think that at some point in time this existed, an Italian film distributed by 20th Century Fox, when they were like, this is post Home Alone, so they were like a big deal, you know?
Yeah, it's funny because this is like the one Italian film that performed well in Italy and like shit in America. It's normally the opposite throughout of all their horror stuff, but this is the first one. Like Americans didn't, no, not at all. Makes sense though if you look at it, but yeah,
no,
and Italians loved it.
It's a lot of it's metaphorical, and there's sort of an art house vibe to this movie. So
100%,
I can understand why a U.S. audience in 1994 didn't respond to this.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of artsy, you know, very metaphoric types of films that aren't just from Italy, but you know, French expressionist films and all those things like that we've never heard of, we've never seen, that never played anywhere stateside. I mean, this got released theatrically stateside and just performed poorly, but it also had a really shitty campaign. That original US poster is terrible. And that VHS cover is almost just as bad.
The white one?
Yeah.
The horrible like, white green. Yeah, it's a weird poster. It feels like it's something that would have been like in the Hitchcock era.
They were trying. It was like they were trying to make it look like a 60s-esque kind of movie or something. I don't know. It's a weird one that it's one of those films that it just seemed like because they were such a big studio at that point, they really didn't know how to market it. But I was always curious as to how they ended up with it. Like, how did 20th Century Fox, which again was a big studio at the time, snag Cemetery Man? You know, like what was the bidding war for that one back in the day? I'm curious, but
there had to be some like fan that worked there's like, we gotta get this.
Yeah,
maybe.
This is also this is 95. Didn't Rupert Everett hit it big with something already?
Was it Four Weddings and a
post Four
Funeral?
Weddings? I know he had hit it big. Like he was already a known actor, but I think he had that US hit.
The mid to late 90s, he kind of had a good run.
So I think he was bankable in their eyes at the time. And I think that was the whole. I'm trying to see what year. Cemetery Man 94.
He was one of the actors being eyed for James Bond at one point, I know as well.
I can see that.
Yeah, same.
But I mean, yeah, you can see how like do we market this as a zombie film? Because I mean, yeah, it definitely has the art house elements, but yet at the same time, there's zombie bikers and Boy Scouts.
I mean, after he did Cemetery Man, Todd, he did Dunstan Checks In, which ironically was also distributed by Fox. So maybe they had a deal with Rupert Everett.
You do the chimp movie, and we'll give you this.
Yeah.
He was also in the Robert Altman movie Ready to Wear, like the same year.
Yeah.
So there's that also.
Yeah, he's fantastic. And again, if you've never watched this, there's just so much to it. This is not just a zombie movie. I won't spoil everything, but you know, there's a lot more going on with the dual narratives, and this one only gets better every time I've watched it. I've never revisited this movie and think like, that wasn't as good as when I watched it 2 years ago or 20 years ago. It just gets better and better. Every element. I mean, you know, it's got some erotic horror in there. It's got, you know, the laughs. The gore again is stellar, and at this point, you weren't getting a lot of that. So I'm curious.
We're not giving enough love to the Dan character.
Noggy.
I love that bald guy.
I think Dan needs to start
Oh,
doing shorts
Nagi.
as Nagi.
Nagi.
Well,
Yeah.
We'll
They
get him ahead
are-
in the TV sets.
they are all one, but yes.
Nagi
still.
is a great character who doesn't utter a single word until the very end of the movie.
Yeah.
And you kind of fall in love with him.
He
He's
grunts and makes verbal,
but he
noises.
doesn't talk.
No, he doesn't.
Doesn't say a word. I said he doesn't say a word.
Nonverbal.
I didn't say he doesn't grunt or doesn't make noise.
No, see, I disagree with nonverbal. That's where I'm disagreeing.
He just makes grunts and noises. But
People.
but you kind of fall in love with that guy. Unlike, never mind. I'm gonna be nice, but
Yeah.
No, you said damn. Never mind.
I didn't. No, I stopped myself. You said it. You thought it, and
No, damn. I was asking.
Oh, right. Okay.
I know it's confusing.
Backing up. So I saw this because a friend recommended it to me. He was a huge fan of it. And it was someone that I was just starting to hang out with. I didn't have a lot of horror buddies back in the day, and I met this guy at the mall who was like infamous for loving horror movies, and he had asked me if I had seen this movie called Cemetery Man. I said no, I hadn't even heard of it, I think, at that point. And he had the VHS, which at the time was pretty hard to get a hold of. And we watched it at his place, and I really enjoyed it, and I was very surprised by it. And I think I was 15 or 16 at that point, I was a little, I would say, off-put by some of the more artsy things and some of the more metaphorical pieces of it, because a lot of it, frankly, I just didn't understand. But visually and visual wise, and and a lot of the writing and a lot of the style choices made, I really appreciated what they did, and I kind of got absolved in that world and accepted everything as it was. Because there are some movies you watch where if they're using traditional movie monsters like zombies and they change the way they behave, you kind of get pissed off, because it's like, well, no, that's not what a zombie is supposed to do or should be doing. But in this one, you sort of forgive all that, because none of the no two zombies are alike in this film. They all sort of behave somewhat differently. And a perfect example is the flying zombie head gag. Everyone loves that in this film, but 6 years earlier in Zombie 3, it was the worst part of the movie. So context and execution is all in like how it works.
It was in Zombie 3, so
well, that's what I mean though. Like context and execution. And Cemetery Man, it doesn't pull you out of the film. A flying zombie head makes a lot of sense. In Zombie 3, that's like about a mutated virus. A flying zombie head doesn't make any sense. But apparently, that was Fulci's favorite part of that whole film. So
he lost his mind.
The idea. That's all.
Yeah,
he lost his mind. Blew away.
But anyway, so yeah, and it really, there's a lot of plot elements in here that if they weren't presented in this film, I don't think people would have responded to them as positively. But because this was done so well, and it was put together so well, and the universe that they were establishing was built so well, you accepted all of it and ran with it. There was no
you can accept things that are different if the movie's good enough. You just gotta go with it. Yeah, it's just all right. It works in this world, and it just plays. Now, if the movie's already struggling, then it's
a different animal. Again, flying zombie. I mean, that's the perfect example. Is two movies that have the same type of scene with a flying zombie head attacking somebody. One of them it works, and one of them it doesn't. And
this was only my second time watching this movie, and my enjoyment of it is the same. I think it's very good. Like, I feel the comic aspect of it, even though I don't think it should be. It's not supposed to be there like as heavy as I feel it. But I don't know. I think I'm just trained to look for it when I heard the Dylan Dog thing, and that spoke to me. And then the Dan character, Nahi, like I was like, I just want to spin off of just him. Like I just want to hang out with him. He's fucking cool.
Remember how it ends.
He was I can't remember what country, but I knew he's a punk singer.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
I was trying to remember that as well.
I can't remember I don't think it's Norwegian, but
Pitt, you know this guy?
I can't remember. No, he actually passed a few years back.
Ah, fuck, that sucks.
So,
that's a bummer.
Yeah. Oh, and now you have to check out his music.
I'm going to. Visually you get sucked in. there's a shit ton going on, and there's a lot of rules and things you need to follow in this world. And I appreciate the world building that this did. And yeah, it's fucking cool. I really want to see it again. I don't know why it's taking me so long to watch it again. So
He was also in Brotherhood of the Wolf. So he actually passed in February last year in France. So I believe it was French.
He was French, yeah.
Yeah. So French punk band.
City of Lost Children as well. I mean, he's got
Yes.
yeah
That he was also in
some good stuff on his filmography.
R.I.P. Nagi.
yeah,
All right.
Shirt.
Yeah, that's sad to hear.
I try to say his
I
other
had
name,
it.
but I'm not even going to attempt it. Sorry.
I don't know how to pronounce that.
Yeah.
Franciosis?
That's Francois.
Francois.
Oh, that's how you spell
If
Francois.
you watched more French art house movies, you'd know Francois.
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh God, here we go.
Okay, it's not.
French
I'll make a
Extreme, where they kill Francois and right off the bat.
As long as Francois is flayed alive, you're good. Okay.
That was the baby's name and inside.
Yeah. I'm making that
Little
canon in my head.
Let's get it now.
In my head, it is. Fuck yeah.
All right. Well, do we want to talk more about it, or do we want to go ahead and rate it? I'm not asking you first. Then. Okay.
Because I think we're going to end up talking about all of these movies again. So
I think we might, because now it's time. Chris, what do you rate this?
It's a 4.5. That's yeah. I would give it a 4.5. It's a great film. It's very well made, but I do think some of the art house movies could still get lost on audiences today. But if you can appreciate that in a film, then you won't have any problems with it. So
I was going to give it a 3, but I got to give it an extra 2 for Anis Felchis. So that's a 5.
All right.
Dan, what do you give it?
I'm a 5. I would go even higher. It works as popcorn film, works as you want to call it an art house film, elevated horror, whatever you want to call it. It's just a fucking awesome. It's an awesome movie with tons of layers and yeah, perfect film for me.
I'm gonna call it a 4 out of 5 for me.
All right.
Okay.
So there we go. Well, Chris.
I'm not supposed to go first this
Oh,
time.
that's right. It's my turn.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'll tell you guys what's up for elimination before I take my pick. That's right.
And just to recap, we're gonna be.
This is it.
And
And
then
then we got
Michael Jackson.
well, it's almost it. We got to eliminate one. Then we got something else to do.
That's true. That's true.
All right. So up for elimination, we have Lucio Fulci Zombie, Return of the Living Dead, Shaun of the Dead, and Cemetery Man. Okay, I got
You
2.
want me just to go first, so in case Return of the Living Dead. I would like that to go.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're not last, so that's fine. Okay.
Took the pressure. Wait, that means Dan's going to be last again. Oh no, wait, I'll be last.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, you got final spot. Should have let me go first, Bugs. If I vote for that, I would feel like an asshole. Because I'll be honest, Cemetery Man and Shaun of the Dead are not going anywhere. So now I'm stuck between a fucking Italian zombie classic and a classic horror comedy. I'm stuck between.
Yeah, all different, all classics.
Yeah, and this is a hard one. Fucking cocksuckers.
I have no idea what you're gonna do either.
Where's that Jeopardy music?
Oh, I'm stuck between those two. Return of the Living Dead.
What doesn't matter, right?
No, it absolutely matters.
It does matter.
We got 2 Return of the Living Deads. Chris, you voted out Cemetery.
He hasn't voted anything out yet.
anything.
He's last.
Oh, he's last. Okay. All right. I'm thinking. I'm sorry. I should be more decisive, but it is a hard list.
I know it is.
Well, Todd's deciding. You should have been thinking.
I know. Well, he wanted to see where I was going. I'm still swayable.
It's between 2.
Which can we ask which 2, Dan?
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's either Return of the Living Dead or Shaun of the Dead.
Well, we know what Dan's going to pick now.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I know what Dan's gonna pick now too.
Not necessarily.
You already said it doesn't matter, so I know what you're picking.
Well, I thought you already went for some reason. So
No.
if you picked Cemetery Man, I know I'm not picking that.
Well, now Chris knows what not to pick. Thanks.
Well, that's the thing.
And you
though.
play poker?
I know, right?
Fucking idiot.
All
I don't believe these
Well,
stories. How do I get
It is over if I go Return of the Living Dead. I'm just
Wow, your fucking math skills are amazing, dude.
fuck you. I'm just
So Dan, before you make your choice, I do want to point one thing out to you. Pugs has changed his vote twice just to fuck you over. So just keep that in mind.
That second time I didn't want to, but you
About how happy you're probably going to make him if you get Return of the Living Dead out of here.
I understand that. It's
I think Dan's trying to actually pick the one he wants the least. So I'm trying not to sway him. And
okay. I mean,
do I need?
We got-
Do I need?
2 zombie comedies, but also different. Again, not the exact same kind of humor. Which one do I watch more?
I would like you to answer that one out loud. I would like to know. For fun, not like for
I'm not going to say
research
what swayed
purposes.
me because I don't want to sway
Yeah.
you. Chris knows.
Oh, I don't even have an answer to my own question.
It's not really.
Well,
You don't know which one you watch more? Which one you would go to more?
well, I
Yeah,
do want
it's so
to
hard.
say that if that's the reason you picked Return of the
It's
Living
not.
Dead,
I was just busting your balls.
I was going to say then Cemetery Man definitely should have gone because
Well,
Well,
now
you
you're-
as we've discussed, they're not traditional zombies at all in Cemetery Man, and they do not behave like zombies in a lot of ways.
Oh no, I wasn't even going that way. I was thinking. The other, I was joking about the other thing.
Oh, okay.
A particular actor.
yeah. I have to say,
Am I going to cut any of this out now? I'm just going to let Dan
leave it
slow
in.
the program
No,
down to a crawl. While
You're
we
gonna
all
get-
wait for the Hat Man to think of an answer.
Well, we
the
could do some time
extended
limit.
cut. The extended cut. We could
Okay, well
cut.
you think and we'll.
All right. All right.
Oh,
I'm gonna go. When I think about it, by maybe that much, I'll. Fuck.
oh my god, this guy.
All right. I this is a
I
little.
I managed to pull it off, Dan, and I didn't want to do it.
All right. I'm voting out Shaun of the Dead.
Alright, now it's up to
Now it's
Chris.
all- This is
It's-
why last spot sucks.
Tough.
Mm.
Well, okay, Chris. Okay, you know where the vote is, and you know it's in your hands. What was your gut pick before any of us picked anything?
Well, it was going to be Cemetery Man just because of the art house angle.
Okay.
Well, but
The other ones are more straightforward. The other ones work better overall. Cemetery Man, I still think kind of it works as a horror movie and it works as a film, but there are elements of it that aren't going to work for every audience. And
sure,
I think
but
that's
aren't
going
you
to hurt it.
saying
But
the other
that's-
movies are more simplistic? I don't know if that's a good.
Yeah, I
But
do like
they're,
the fact
they're
that
more
it's
straightforward
different.
in their storytelling, which for
They
a
are.
lot of people is a better time than trying to figure out exactly what the heck's going on when no context is being given at all. I mean, Cemetery Man relies very much on you
The
being able
hints
to
are
piece
all there.
You have to watch it multiple times to get those hints, and you also have to be looking for them. You want a first viewing for an audience. That's why that movie didn't hit in America back in the day, because no one got it.
I won't argue that point.
So-
I can't say that makes it like worse.
Well, that's your opinion. This is mine. We're discussing.
No, I get that. I'm just
just throwing that out
I
simplistic.
asked Chris where he was going.
So-
Yeah, that doesn't
So
mean
are
that's
you
what
voting
I
I'm
just
voting
mean that's
for.
where I'm going now, because
Yeah.
obviously, if I go in that direction, it doesn't. My vote won't matter. So now I have to choose.
If you want to tie it up and have an argument.
No, well, there wouldn't be a. Oh, it would be a tie. That's right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
Let him end it, damn it.
Way to go, Todd.
Oh, no, he knows he has the power. Jesus. Now we're gonna have to wait 20. Do I need to download some damn background music? thinking music.
Because honestly, another one I probably would have thrown out there is Zombie, just because I mean,
That's fine.
But it's
yeah, but if I put out Zombie, then
See, that's where it gets hard because now it's no matter what it is, it's like you're other you, Chris, other than Cemetery Man, you're getting rid of a beloved classic.
yeah. I can't get rid of Return of the Living Dead just because of the impact and influence that it had. I can't in good conscience say that one needs to go. Should go. I mean, it one film single-handedly invented the rule that everyone thinks zombies eat brains, and that's literally the only movie that did that, and other movies kind of followed it. But that's become synonymous with
innovated
the zombie itself. So because of that, it deserves a spot in the
and don't get me like, I agree, it deserves, like, Final Four is all classics, but we have to eliminate one, and we're not done, Chris, because we're going to pick the final one
Order.
next.
Yeah.
So we're eliminating to get to our final three, then to pick our actual champion.
Yeah.
So we're not done.
Yeah. It just gets harder and harder.
It's hard because you don't want to let go of your classic. You can lock
only
it
two
up.
I heard Chris say that were on the chopping block.
What'd you
The
say?
ones I don't care. The only things I heard you say on the chopping block were the ones I don't care about.
Yeah. I mean, because
So you pick
Shaun
one.
of
This is
Shaun
how
of the
me and Dan felt when Dr. Giggles we were fighting to get that one.
Shaun of the
See-
Dead is a staple. I mean, that's again, that's a horror comedy that most horror comedies are measured up against. But at the
Return
end
of the Living Dead was also another horror comedy.
but I was going to say, at the end of the day, Return of the Living Dead came first. And if I'm going to have to narrow this down somehow,
So does that mean you're going to vote for Shaun of the Dead?
I mean, I kind of have to if I want Return of the Living Dead to stay, and I do, because I mean, my pick was going to be either Zombie or Cemetery Man. I was between those two, initially.
Should be
But
Cemetery Man.
well, if I pick Cemetery Man, then Return of the Living Dead's gone because there's 2 votes for it. So
I know.
I'm not doing that.
It would have just happened if Todd would have been quiet.
Oh no, I was paying attention. So
No, you didn't know. You
You're
had
not Dan.
yeah, I would. I mean, I adore Shaun of the Dead. It's a phenomenal film, and it's like I said, it's flawless. But out of the 4,
So you're going to vote out a flawless movie?
which I also
massively.
I also think Return of the Living Dead is flawless too. I think I gave that a 5 as well, so they both have the same rating.
I think all these movies are flawless.
I think 2 are.
And I think holding on to Cemetery Man personally is the wrong move, just because, like I said, it's especially when we're talking about traditional zombies, and you eliminated a movie because they didn't follow the rules, and this one certainly doesn't.
I would argue that
he loved
this
it,
one
though.
stands out.
I'm just saying, Todd took a movie out of the running once because the zombies didn't behave like traditional zombies.
Well, I mean, I can use that argument. That didn't factor in my decision today.
Okay, just saying.
I was between those two, and I can't. It's too hard to eliminate zombie. So, are you locking us up? As your final
yeah.
pick?
If you
Okay,
voted
Shaun
Return
of the
Dead,
Dead,
then I'm Shaun of the Dead. Yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
You guys have no heart. You have no heart.
I picked. You know what I picked?
I mean, unless you want to switch your vote to Zombie, then I'll switch mine to Zombie.
I'm actually not against. Sway me to why I should keep Return of the Living Dead instead of Zombie, or whatever.
Over Cemetery Man, you're choosing Zombie over Cemetery. I mean, Zombie over Cemetery Man over Zombie.
He clearly loves Cemetery Man. Okay, so
I didn't get that.
I think with this one, the problem with the sway is then somebody else might flip too. So I think
the only other person who might flip is you. Puzz isn't flipping. So I mean, if Todd wants me, okay. So the only thing I can say in Return of the Living Dead's defense against Zombie, again, is the impact and the influence that it had on the genre as a whole. Zombie has an influence and it had an impact for sure, but it had an impact and an influence on a specific subgenre like of Italian filmmakers. It really didn't come out of that. No one jumped into the voodoo zombie craze. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Return of the Living Dead jump-started a movement to literally change the way the general public perceived the Living Dead.
Well, that's an argument why it's a more important movie, but
that's the only thing I
Hold
can
on,
say to
gentlemen.
sway you on that.
I'm gonna do something gigantic here, just because I really want Sean to be in the final 3. Chris, if you're willing to eliminate Cemetery Man, I will change mine to Cemetery Man.
I changed my vote to Return of the Living Dead then. I mean, and it's gone. I mean, you're jumping to something that didn't have any other votes.
Well,
so
Pugs cracked the code.
There we go. So what's it now?
I flipped the Return of the Living Dead. That's
those two Return of the Living Dead and Pugs and I are Cemetery Man. So now it's tied with Cemetery Man.
Then I'm switch back if that's what Dan's doing.
Well,
yeah,
I don't know. I think at this point, I mean, I'm only flipping because
the only thing.
Yeah, that's why I'm only doing it too.
I want to hold on.
vote.
The only thing Todd asked me to do was to sway him. This didn't involve you two, so I don't know why.
I don't want to change their.
What I'm saying,
why
because I do want Shaun of the Dead in the final 3.
Right,
I think it deserves to be there over.
You're misunderstanding. If Todd switches to zombie, I'm switching to zombie, which means Shaun of the Dead gets to stay.
No, shut up.
Thank you. Appreciate.
But he said he would switch his. Dan said,
yeah, because you were going to get out Cemetery Man because you put up Cemetery Man.
Okay.
He wants to keep Cemetery Man, which I can respect.
This is getting very complicated. But
yeah,
Dan's lost.
This is what you wanted.
I
know.
Right.
So I would.
Will you feel better if Chris threatens to suplex you next, motherfucker? That was missing for you.
There would be more threats of skull fuckings if Chris.
Also, Todd, I mean, this is a low blow, but I also know it could help sway you. You get to see Linnea Quigley naked through 80% of Return of the Living Dead.
Of these 4 movies, though, I do think it should be Return, Zombie, and Shaun. Like those 3. Like Cemetery Man, I don't think is up there, dude.
Oh, I 100% disagree.
That's fine. You love the movie.
Zombie.
And your answer to
I switched.
So where are we even at now?
Well, there we go. Now I don't give a shit about all 3.
I'll do Zombie as well. So Zombie's gone.
Wow.
There we go.
The one that had like nobody shit on it, but now
the entire time. Well, because I was between that and Cemetery Man, but you're not going to let Cemetery Man go.
And I was between Zombie and Return of the Living Dead. I said that from the beginning. I was the very first one to talk.
I'm still willing to say Cemetery Man.
See, that's where you swap me. See, that's what made me flip. I'm not losing it. When you popped up for Sean, I'm popping up for Cemetery Man.
You got 2 that are not budging on Cemetery.
Okay.
We might be busting on it, but not budging.
Well, I mean, the first time I saw it, but that's a whole different story. All right. So
first
that
off,
means
final 3, not Plugs approved.
Our final 3, let me put that little asterisk next to Zombie. Our final 3 are Return of the Living Dead, Shaun of the Dead, and Cemetery Man. Now we must pick the winner of this year. So of the 3, I already have what I want to win.
I want Shaun of the Dead to win. I'm just going to throw that out there.
All right.
That's my number 1.
Well,
should we just do the...
Let's recap it. What are the final 3?
I literally just did.
You didn't read them all.
I read all 3, Dan, in a row. I said our final ones are our survivors are Lucio Fulci Zombie.
No, that was gone.
Oh, sorry, you botched. Return of the Living Dead, Shaun of the Dead, and Cemetery Man. Those are our final 3.
Okay.
Which one would you eliminate next, Dan?
Is it to me now first?
Well, whatever. Just who would you eliminate?
Wait, do we eliminate? I thought we just pick one that we like.
Well, we can try that way first. Okay, I'm Shaun
let's
of the
pick
Dead.
one that's like a winner.
Order, or that.
Okay, yeah. What we can do? Okay.
All right.
Well, let's pick our favorite. That's the easiest, right?
Okay. All right.
I'm Shaun of the Dead. For
Sean. Same Sean.
Shaun of the Dead. I'd pick that one too.
What would you pick, Dan?
It doesn't matter, does it?
No, this is
but yes, your opinion. No, it doesn't matter. Just what would you pick, Dan?
We're picking the winner.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not eliminating. Okay, Cemetery Man.
Okay, so our number 1 is Shaun of the Dead. So who would you guys pick second? We're Cemetery Man, so it's Return of the Living Dead. I will pick Cemetery Man second. Dan.
We're picking second place.
Oh my god!
We still got to put them in order, dude. So yes,
Oh.
you're gonna pick second and third.
Okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
Cemetery Man or Return of the Living Dead.
Cemetery Man, I already picked.
Okay, thank you. Dan's confused. Pugs.
No, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Wait. Time out.
I have
Dan,
no clue what's going on.
Cemetery. Okay. Have you ever ranked the top 3 before, Dan? That's what we're doing right now.
Oh,
So
we're doing a ranking.
Cemetery
Okay.
Man's your number 1. So what's your number 2? It's
Return of the Living Dead.
Thank you. Jesus
Okay.
fucking Christ.
We haven't done it this way.
Pugs. Your
I'm
number
still
2.
debating.
What did Dan pick? He picked Return of the Living Dead.
He picked Cemetery Man and Return of the Living Dead. Could you start writing this down?
Yeah.
I like your tone there. Like, God damn it.
The only one we need to know is what won, and that was Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
That's why I
I'll
gave
go
Dan 2
Cemetery
choices.
Man, and then
That's why you should let me teach with Dan because he picked the one that was already. Yeah. All right. Sorry. What happened?
Cemetery Man is
Cemetery Man's second for you,
Yeah.
but that makes sense. So,
Yeah.
Chris, what's
Fourth.
second?
Return of the Living Dead would be my second choice.
So now we can't do a top 3. That's why I was doing it the other way because it's locked on our number 2.
Return of the Living Dead is locked at number 2.
Well, no, because we have 2 and 2, so we can't do a top 3. We can only do a number 1. Me and Dan both picked. Me and Pugs both picked Cemetery Man, and you 2 picked Return of the Living Dead for number 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can't. Yeah,
Okay.
So there's no third place for us. It's the
yeah.
slot.
The last 2 are tied, so there's only a
That's
number
okay.
1.
Oh,
Shaun
okay.
of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead.
That's what I'm saying. That's
Fair
why
enough. Okay. All
I'm
right.
fucking totally cool with the number 1.
Yeah.
So-
I'm not going to fight Pugs on that one.
You know what? I mean,
See,
they're all great
kumbaya.
movies. They're all great movies.
are.
It's not a Dr. Giggles end to the tournament. I'll just say that.
Dr. Giggles is
Yeah.
a masterpiece. You're tripping.
No, I ain't no fucking masterpiece. But
Incorrect. Dan, he's you. You're in your goofy ass one-liners. I don't understand how you don't. Well, you know, I do understand. Self-hater.
I don't hate the movie. It's just all right. Well, we're fighting.
Anyway,
over
there were 4 classics that ended off. Most of our movies, I think, where we'd recommend, minus 13 Aries, the only one other than Dan, we all kind of like thought was the turd in the punch bowl.
Dude,
Oh,
I'm
I said
still
other than
incredibly shocked that Zombie didn't make it to the final 3. I'm like, good on you guys for loving Cemetery Man.
No-
But that is
nobody-
crazy to me.
I don't think anybody had.
It's no
a
crazier than you
criticism of it.
hating Return of the Living Dead so much.
Yeah, that one I understand. This one I don't. That's
Well, obviously you understand.
that's what I'm saying. It's fucking crazy to me.
It's funny. I don't think anybody had a negative thing the entire tournament to say about Zombie, and then it was just like gone in 2 seconds.
It's like a wrestler that's 2 over. Oh,
Well, no, it wasn't gone in 2 seconds. I had to. I swayed Todd.
I told him to 2.
Yeah, and I did. It wasn't his initial choice, and I wasn't going to pick that. I was going to pick Cemetery Man, but some asshole with a hat was determined to fucking keep it. So Zombie had to go.
Hey, I was gonna fight to the bitter end for Cemetery Man. That would have been
Apparently.
so. That's fine. We have a good champion. Nobody's gonna argue that. Shaun of the Dead. So and hell of a
runners
couple
up.
finale on this. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let me pose a question to you guys before we bow out here. What do you if we had Kruger, who unfortunately couldn't be on the tournament, do you think this goes different? I don't think Zombie goes. He can weigh in the comments.
Well, it would have gone different because the votes, like, there's 5.
There
of
would
us.
not
There
be
would have
any-
been. There were no ties.
Well, yeah, but I don't know that Sean wins this tournament. I could be wrong.
I think he would have gotten rid of Cemetery Man, to be honest.
Maybe you could be
General
right.
vibe I
I'm
get
not
from
100%.
him. I think it would have gone.
Okay, fair enough.
Good
Uh,
shot, unless he liked the gore enough to keep it in.
Well,
There's some cool
Cemetery Man's
effects in
not
that.
Cemetery Man's not overly
Gory,
gory though.
but it's
really
got good
not.
effects.
Yeah, it does, but it's not zombie level or even Return of the Living Dead level. There's a literal.
Yeah,
Return
it's-
of the Dead.
Hmm. Well, I'll just say great tournament. Be sure to watch all of our other Halloween content if you missed any, because there is Halloween shows every day. 31 Days of Horror here at Flesh Wound, and we got a lot of good stuff up there. So if you missed it, check it out. More to come. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this tournament. Chris, thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Chris.
And
Please plug your podcast and anything that you have coming up. I know October is a big month. You guys got to have something planned.
Yeah, we're the spooky picture show. We unfortunately, when we first started our show, we kind of blew our load in October. We did 3 episodes that month because we were losing a host and we knew Peter was leaving, and there was a lot of stuff felt like we needed to cover with him before he left. And so the following October we were kind of screwed. So this October we're in a little bit better shape. We discussed 2 films on each episode, and just kind of the 2 films that usually have something in common, and it could be something as simple as just an actor that's in both films, or one thread line of plot that works in both. And for our first show in October, we're actually going to be discussing 2 movies that one is on everyone's mind right now, and the other one hasn't been on anyone's mind for a while. But we're going to be talking about Trick or Treat and The Video Dead on our first October episode. And then for the second episode, we have a guest co-host come on, and the guest co-host picked Night of the Demons 3, and we have to pair it up with something, and we haven't really narrowed that one down yet. So but that's the second October.
You could do Witch Trap and do 2 movies the producers hate.
Yeah,
the hazing.
Yeah, we haven't. So the way we do it with the guest host is the second episode of the month. Is we have the guest host pick a film, and then we pick the second film to kind of go along with it. And we usually try to find the newest episode we had that came out in September with our guest host. He picked Suspiria, and we picked Phantom of the Paradise. So that's kind of like the line of thread that we kind of, we try to run with, is that there's something similar about both. Or we could do another episode like Maniac and Mannequin. That was
that's badass.
That was a fun one, which I didn't realize.
If only Joe Spinell showed up to face off with Andrew McCarthy.
Right. I didn't realize at the time when we picked those 2 movies that Fright Rags had done that mashup art, so that was perfect.
Oh, that was beautiful.
You know what I mean? I was like, oh shit, somebody else clearly had this line of thinking, so we're not that far off.
Kim Cattrall is lucky she was dealing with Andrew and not Joe.
But he would have been whining about being part of the Brat Pack. It would have been a whole thing.
That's true. But yeah, we have a screening coming up actually of Trick or Treat in October as well. I'm not sure when this is going to air. It might have already passed, but it's October 26th.
No, but that's a couple weeks away.
At the Somerville Theater. So in Boston, if you're in the New England area and you want to come check us out, we're having a costume contest. It's also a mystery double feature. The second feature is also Halloween themed, and they're both on 35, which is really cool. And yeah, and then the Trick or Treat 4K will be out at some point, which I did work on, but I don't know. I don't have a date for that yet, so sorry.
Nope. Sweet.
Hopefully
It'll be worth the wait.
We'll know. I said of the airing.
Yeah. It'll be worth the wait, though, so that's the important thing.
Very cool. Very cool stuff upcoming. Well, we got a busy month too. Finally going to do our Toxic Avenger franchise show coming up soon.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that. I don't want to announce too much. I will say this, since this is the last episode, this is the first year we didn't on Patreon give you the episodes early. We're letting it all play out on the main channel. So in November, you will get a special Patreon exclusive tournament that you will not want to miss, and Dan doesn't want me to promote it a certain way. So make sure, see this November on Patreon.
Patreon.com/FleshWoundFeatures. It all starts at just $1. We don't do the super chat, so we appreciate it, and you get a lot of good
one.
Yeah,
going to be a good one. All right, there we go. Dad, set us out.
Goodbye, guys, and continue to have a happy Halloween.
Money's on the dresser. Chris?
Viva la Return of the Living Dead.
I'll see you in Disneyland.